biggest deal we did was 3 mil TCV.
How did you actually get it done?
It was a compelling event. Almost made my year number in one deal. Channel still works. You have to utilise a channel.
The difference between closing 50k deals to 500k plus deals.
The mindset shift. It's not you, it's a team.
Alright, it is 4:15 a.m. and we're into the city early this morning and we're leaving home about 6 a.m. I'm going to hit a gym session in our gym. This is our home gym. So we have like a rack, bench, plates, dumbbells, and it really just gets us by to be able to do emergency sessions when I can't make it to the gym. We're going to go into the city early or something like that. But come along for today. We have 2 podcasts, 3 coaching calls for our double triple community. But first, always move the body.
Walking through Hyde Park, Caelah is hiding from the rain, and we are off for a day, 2 podcasts, in with Ben Lanciano, talking through SDR to AE, hanging out with Adam as well, talking about mindset and tech sales. So it's a big day in the city.
Yeah,
how you feeling?
Nice and wet and rainy, and I don't have a rain jacket.
Mama, take this badge off of me.
So double triple podcast, we are super excited because Kay and I have these amazing connections and networks in the tech industry. And one of our very first guests is actually Ben Lanciano, who I worked with really closely in the Next Gen days. Kay, you actually saw him as a really key example, right? SDR through to AE.
Yeah, I just got into
original
tech.
inspo.
Yeah, I just got into tech and you showed me his profile. And I think when you first start as like an SDR, you kind of like, you're in it for a year and you're like, do I go an SDR manager or my account executive, or how do I get to that path? But Ben was like such a good example of what like I think people in our program are going to do. My example, but what got me over the edge was when I first met Ben, and it was like midday, he was surfing, he was building his property, and I'm just like, what is this guy doing at Wollongong just during the day?
We got Gabe and Ben Lanciano about to start the potty. They're going to go deep on Ben's background, but also being from the cybersecurity industry. He started as an SDR, became an enterprise AE, made lots of money in the tech space. And Ben was someone that inspired me so much when I got into the industry. I remember looking at his LinkedIn profile, it was like the exact path that I wanted to follow. And now he's been in the industry for like 15 years. So it's really cool to be behind the scenes, listening to all things Ben and Gabe chat. Enjoy the episode.
Ben Lanciano, we're back for a bonus segment. People resonated with your journey so much. Back by popular demand, we'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience actually going from really a commercial AE role into an enterprise or a strategics AE role, and fundamentally the difference between closing 50k deals to 500k plus deals. So what would you say, based on your experience, is the big contrast there?
So this will be fun. Little bonus round. I like it. So in essence, how a lot of us listening and even doing the job day to day think about SaaS sales. There's obviously a process and there's obviously a methodology to it and there's a mindset shift. But if you think about as a commercial AE, it's velocity. It's deal velocity. And, you might be running like 20 10K deals, hopefully a bit larger than that ARR. Let's say 20 times 20. And you've got a smaller quota than a strategic AE. So it's deal velocity as a commercial AE. Time management is critical in both roles, but you learn that stepping stone as a commercial AE more so than anything. And then the third I'd say is using your channel, using a next gen, using AWS, using other SIs as an extension of you and your team. So it's more about being very deliberate in your approach. And like we said in the earlier segment, qualifying in, qualifying out very quickly. Because, you have so many deals. You've got a mixture of inbound, you've got a mixture of channel, you're also outbounding. So like, how can you use the channel, the distribution model that we did so well successfully, you and I, Next Gen? And so those are kind of the 3 main tips I'd say to be successful as a commercial emerging account exec. However, whilst those things are critical, and I've seen the top 1% salespeople of those be very deliberate around the extension, the channel, working well with partners, having deal velocity and execution mindset. There's one thing you never know, and I had this. I had some pretty large deals in commercial, one with a non-for-profit, and I'm actually still quite close with gentleman. He was our champion. He's now the economic buyer. Still maintain a relationship with, this is one example of many. That deal was 100K US ARR. It's like a 3-year deal, I think. I was over the moon. I'll never forget it. Told my wife, Chelsea, when I came home, I was like ecstatic. There were other deals from there that were good. Tech companies, obviously a lot of tech companies, they're very, very intelligent. This non-for-profit needed our help more than anything. They need to understand why is identity important? Why will our CEO care? Why will hand-holding? Now, what did I just say about deal velocity? So I had to be, all right, guys, I need my executives here to help me internally. I need my SC, my architects to help me. I know this isn't $1 million ARR deal. It's only 100, but it's important to me. And what I'm going to do about my other deals. So obviously you're getting asked, forecast, what's your forecast? I assure you that this 100K non-for-profit, who closes non-for-profits, is going to come in. Is that the right ICP? I was very certain that we were going to close this deal because I understood the business case. I understood the metrics. I understood my champion, what he was motivated to achieve and what it meant for the shareholders of that non-for-profit. But getting internal buy-in from management, because I'm a commercial AE, wasn't easy at all. It was like, hang on, what about your other 20 deals? I was like, it's okay, I've got the channel to run. Right? So be deliberate in your strategy. So not always qualified early as a commercial AE. You still need to have a focus on, these are my whales. I'm going to go whale hunting, 5, and this is why. So you're not only getting the external buy-in from your customers, you're getting the internal buy-in from your executives, from the head of CS, customer success, from the head of professional services to go, all right, we will invest internal resources to this because we're on your journey then. We're here to support you. I think that's one little bit. So that's on the commercial side. Pivoting to the strategic, I always make sure it's not the sales process and methodology that changes. It's still MedPick, still a mutual action plan, still a decision-making process, it's still a paper process, it's still a champion. You learn those things. The mindset shift, it's not you, it's a team more so than anything. If you're going to be a lone wolf, I don't know one lone wolf as a strategic account exec that has been successful. You will work with BDRs, SDRs. You'll work with marketing more. You'll work with customer success managers, professional services, TAMs, technical account managers, support, you name it. I've mentioned almost all of them, and especially your executives to win that deal. There are like 9 different business units that are all helping you, and you are like that point guard. So you are bringing that team on the journey. Deal size could go from anywhere, I don't know, like the biggest deal I did, the biggest deal we did as a team was maybe almost 3 mil TCV, and I almost made my year number in one deal. And my target that year was pretty high. It was like 1.2 mil US. So I smashed my quota that year. And I'm, again, like when we close that deal, the shout outs that I give every single time we close a 50K deal or a 20K deal or $1 million or almost $1 million deal is, it's not it's we. And if you don't bring those people on the journey, you'll never be successful, both in, but really in strategic. It's that team mindset, it's we. And so oversharing, like I was talking about in the other segment, do it internally. Create a Slack channel. These are actions this week. These are the objectives this week. Anyone got any other questions? This is what I'm thinking is the point guard. I need help from X. I need help from Y. I need help from Z. And just bring them on that journey, whether it's Slack or Teams. It's really important that that's how to execute a deal. These deals take, as you know, an army of people internally and externally to make it work. But if you don't bring them on that same path and you have one doing something else that's all like this, first of all, you're not going to close it. Second of all, it could drag out to 3 years and you might get sacked, right? And you're relying on it. It's very important. And there's probably the other thing is like resilience. And I still have this thing that I'm still learning, right? On those very large accounts, you get knocked back 100 times. From politics, from incumbent software, from red tape, internal stuff. And it's my old executive, actually, shout out Emmanuel Spanos, very close mate. Gabe knows him well. Very good friend of mine still. I was getting knocked back in a very large deal that we ended up closing with a very large media company. But during that, I had everything you could happen in a deal. Maybe we'll save it for another bonus session.
Yeah.
I had everything happen, and he was like, did you write down the milestones that you did in the last week? The conversations you had? I said, no. He said, then of course you don't think you've progressed that deal, Ben and team, because you haven't written down what you've done from Monday to Friday. And if you don't stay on top of these small wins on these very large deals that could take 2-3 years to close, you will never end up executing it.
Yeah, you won't feel like you've made the progress, right?
Spot on.
Yeah, for sure. Especially the bigger strategic sales motion. Takes a long time. And an army, like you say.
It takes an army.
Totally.
And then you're not bringing the team on the journey.
Yeah.
It'll be like, oh, we're getting knocked back. Oh, yeah, we're all good. And then it's the motivation of the team to lift them up. Whereas if you go, hey, guys, actually, can I show you what we've done? Take a timeline.
Yeah.
Draw a line. Say, from January to December, we have done these exceptional things. Let's remind ourselves. Because remember, it's not just I, it's we. And if you bring them on the same journey, you're going to have that same winning mentality.
Yeah.
Like when you played in the W League.
Yeah. So you'd say that's the biggest difference between the 50K deal and the 500K deal?
Spot on.
The stakeholders.
Yeah. Stakeholders and deal, and absolutely deal velocity.
Motions. Yeah.
Motions, absolutely. And as I said, I don't want people to think that having the commercial mindset is different. It's just the deal velocity it could be your year number or you smashing your year. Like smashing your year by utilizing the power of deal velocity, being deliberate, making sure the channel's working for you on the smaller deals and you can go focus on the strategic. Whereas the whole internal team is on those strategic ones. Channel still works. You have to utilize a channel. I'm a big believer in that, as you know. And I think the channel is super important to SaaS sales. A lot of people I know didn't utilize that and they didn't end up hitting their numbers. So that's something we can
be a big multiplier. Yeah,
100%.
awesome.
Yeah.
Anything about that favorite deal, the $3 million TCV? How did you actually get it done? Was it a similar type of motion in terms of timeline, execution? Was there something that it just happened to be so memorable about it that you would take forward in your career?
It was a compelling event, and the compelling event was really strong. And so this organization had an immediate need to get rid of their incumbent identity solution, which was a high technical debt, high total cost of ownership, very low return on investment, and even they had an all hands. It was like I call it a trigger event. They had 2 all hands where they couldn't even play the all hands globally because the service failed. The availability, scalability of that incumbent platform almost failed, and they couldn't even do the service. It was a few years ago. It was crazy. And I remember hearing the first time, the second time, and they're like, all right, Ben, we've been talking to you for years, you and your team. And we had already got a small use case in there, land and expand,
Nice.
And it was, to them, it was like, we already seen the return on investment because that small use case was adopted across the team. It was actually making this big decision for the wider identity size deal. And so from there, it was like compelling event, tick. Access to power, EB, to a strong champion who I'm still really close with now, tick. And then it was like, let's do the number thing. And I never forget I was in their office, and I'm really cagey about numbers. Like I'm a weird risk-averse sales guy. I'm a terrible forecaster.
But still being successful.
And I remember sitting and he's like, let's just go through numbers now. And I was, but we haven't done the business. What's the business case look like? Well, Ben, we just went over it. And I said, and he's like, come on. We've known each other for years. We already have a small footprint here. This is what I need from you to win. And he told me the budget. He told me the access to pay. He basically walked through the paper process. And then I knew we had a deal.
Nice.
That wasn't after 1 month. Multiple, that we spoke about, building a champion, multiple coffees, multiple beers, multiple times where, we would have chats after 5 p.m. Is everything okay? Do you need anything from my technical team? Are you missing any technical success criteria for this proof of concept that we're doing? This is a very large migration effort, very large cost of change for your business. No, I'm okay. This is what I'm doing. Communicating. It's perfect. And hopefully get to work with that champion again one day soon.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I'm sure many times over, Ben.
We'll
Good
see.
job.
Yeah.
Amazing. Till next time.
till next time. Till next little bonus
bonus
round.
session.
Yeah, 100%.